Eric, I have a question for you. Eric Baller, you are the president of Van He Clean Energy, and you're going to be out today at the Solar Day 2010. We were talking about just east of Webster. We'll give the address at the end of the segment. Right. How do these heating and cooling systems and these solar thermal, solar electric, how do they compare as far as, maintenance and comfort? Are you getting the same kind of comfort in your home?
That's one of the other reasons a lot of our customers pick geothermal heating is because it is more comfortable. It has a smoother airflow and doesn't have the same kind of blast of heat that you get with a natural gas furnace, and then it gets cold again, and then it get a blast of heat because it's a much more concentrated heat with gas. Instead, we have a much steadier heat and a much more comfortable environment. Plus, you don't have combustion inside the house. So you don't have the same kind of combustion byproducts, carbon monoxide, all those things you have to worry about. And you have a much cleaner indoor environment. So there's a lot of customers that focus more on the indoor air quality reasons to go with geothermal. And then all the other benefits, the going green, the saving energy, and all those other things are nice to have, but aren't as important.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I had quite a bit of work done on my home, air sealing and insulation, and basically tightened up the home. And one of the requirements that came along with that is that I needed to install a fresh air intake onto my combustible carbon monoxide producing
exactly, because
furnace,
you're burning all this stuff. You need a place to get the fresh air to burn off, and you need a place to exhaust it, and we eliminate that process.
You eliminate
and so
that.
As part of our retrofits, when we do existing home retrofits and energy audits and things like that, in the end, we're sealing up those flues because we take out the gas furnace, and in some cases take out the gas water heater too, and now we don't have air intakes and air exhaust requirements there. You may still need positive ventilation if you've sealed up the house really well.
So I'm guessing a much quieter environment.
Also quieter, yep.
One of my biggest complaints is where I have my hot tub, where it's in my home, and I like to sit out there and relax. I've got every kind of pipe and conditioner and machine running constantly out there, and it's like I just can't get away from it. Something's always running.
Right.
So, it is a little bit of a noisy spot in the house.
Yeah,
if
you
you're
agree
outside.
with me?
Oh, yeah. It's always like a dryer going or a furnace air, whatever. It's weird.
There's always something.
Yep, and these systems are heaters and air conditioners. So one of the things we also do is we eliminate that box that sits outside with the fan because we don't try and get rid of the heat into the hot air. Instead, we get rid of the heat, as Dave mentioned, into the cool ground. So it's more efficient, but it's also a lot quieter.
That's what I'm talking about.
Interesting.
That is what I'm talking about. Eliminating that ugly, gray, noisy fan box thing that's got to be cleaned and everything else every year, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
All right.
This is a good knowledge transfer this morning.
And that's exactly what we're doing this afternoon. Is a good chance for people to see a lot of these systems in place. We've got solar hot water sitting up on the roof right now, so you can see how that ties in and heats up our hot water. We've got geothermal systems in place, so you can see they really do look just like a furnace, but instead it's got water pipes going in instead of gas. And you can even see how we put them in the backyard. Plus, we've got some solar electric panels and things for people to see, so they can really have a chance to see all these things that they've heard about or they've maybe been thinking about. Coming out to the shop is a great way to actually get a look in person.
That's
sort
a
of
good
touch
way.
and feel and get the information. You have information for people on tax credits and installation process and all that kind of stuff today. And that's from 1 until 4 p.m. at Van He. And why don't you tell our listeners whereabouts that is and what else they can find when they come out to see it today?
So the easiest way to find us is go out east on 104, just past Webster, where the windmill is, and you turn left there. That's Dean Parkway. So the address is I've forgotten the address.
6355.
Thank you, 6355 Dean Parkway.
Okay.
Right by the windmill.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. That was great information.
Thanks,
I think probably one of these days when I get my anti-greenies out of here, we can do an entire hour on all this fun stuff,
That'd
right?
be good. Well, we invite you and any of the installs you want to come out and take a look at as we're doing that. More knowledge is good, right?
Excellent. Very good. Thanks again so much for joining us. Folks, that's Van He, EVANHEE.com if you'd like more information on geothermal, solar thermal, and solar electric. They also are sponsoring the Solar Day event 2010 today from 1 to 4, as we talked about earlier. So David Neal and Eric Baller, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
See you there.
This segment was brought to you by Invisible Friends, brand of upstate New York. We'll be right back.